So with my experience so far in Borderlands 4 with Vex and Rafa, I wanted to start looking at their skill trees and doing some theory builds for them so that whenever Borderlands 4 does launch, we can look back and say, did this work? Yes or no. We already did that with Rafa, so make sure you're checking out that video on the channel. So naturally, I wanted to do one for Vex as well. We're going to mainly focus on her Incarnate ability and some kinetic damage for this setup. I really think this is going to be probably one of her best things. Again, hindsight, later on, we'll see, did this work? Now, this document with the skill tree was created by a person named Zeta, so make sure checking out their Twitter in the link below, and also the link to this skill tree map. Obviously later down the road there's going to be full in-depth ones. Maybe double check the channel because me and Moxie and Chadley and Abby Hour might be working on something cool, but just stay tuned for that for later on. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and give me a comment down below letting me know something you're interested in seeing. Subscribe, become a member, and follow me over on YouTube and Twitter and Twitch at Byrdman778. I started streaming again every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so come on over, join the night crew. So I mentioned this in my Rafa video, but we are building this out with the assumption that we have 49 skill points. Whenever I was doing my early testing in Novato back in May, the early access I had, I was able to do the vault mission and I had a level 20 character with 19 skill points. At that assumption, at level 50, that is our current assumed, level cap, we would have 49 points. So we're gonna be working with 49 points going through this tree. Now, for the start of this build, we are going to pick Incarnate as our action skill. Vex creates a phase explosion, dealing damage to nearby enemies and fully restoring her health. While active, Vex uses Eldritch Blast and gains increased movement speed, and that Eldritch Blast is essentially going to be a ball on her offhand that she can shoot out. It's going to deal damage to nearby enemies on impact, and dealing gun damage will help get you that Eldritch Blast back faster. We also need to talk about her trait, the Phase Covenant. Vex is attuned to the elemental type of her current gun, converting all action skill and melee damage into that type. And for this build, we're mainly going to be focusing on kinetic. So our first 5 points are going into Leeching Attunement, attune skill. While Vex is attuned to kinetic, she gains increased lifesteal and reload speed. And the effect will persist after we swap off that gun regardless. So 5 points at a 2%, that's going to give us 10% lifesteal. It's going to give us 30% reload speed, a solid skill to start off with. Then comes probably the most important skill in this entire tree. It's going to be Bloodletter. Gun and skill critical hits have a chance to apply bleed, causing kinetic status effect damage over time for a duration, and bleed is affected by status effect application chance and is considered a status effect. This is going to be absolutely huge for just extra passive damage with that kinetic. Obviously we're going to be getting lifesteal from that. I'm guessing some of that lifesteal is going to be affected by this bleed as well, so we might be getting some really good passive healing. Since we're down to this spot, we got to talk about the augment that we're going to be using. That's called Geist Wave. Instead of causing a phase explosion, Vex launches a Geist Wave, dealing ordnance damage to enemies it passes through. Each affected enemy takes increased damage for a duration. And that's kind of the main part that we want to talk about, is that extra damage it's going to do. Enemies take an additional 30% extra damage for 15 seconds after they're affected by this. You've probably seen this in one of the teaser trailers where it shows Vex creating this tunnel that she runs through. That's what that is. Pretty excited by this. The next skill we're going to talk about is Target Precedence. Vex's gun damage gains critical hit chance against any part of an enemy. That is absolutely huge, especially with Bloodletter, for the fact that maxed out this target thing, we're going to get 15% chance to do that on every single hit. And Bloodletter, gun and skill critical hits right there have a chance to apply that bleed. So we're going to have a really good chance to constantly be affecting this bleed on targets. Now, so far we've used 15 points, and typically we would go immediately down to these bottom 3 trees and start putting points. We're going to put a few more points in this top one because honestly, this top one is pretty stacked, and it's going to be with that material components. Vex gains increased kinetic damage and kinetic status effect damage. So obviously it's going to be huge with everything else that we've been using in this skill tree. So for points 20 to 25, we're going to put them all into Grave Implements. It's a kill skill. Vex and her minions have increased gun damage for a duration. We're going to put all those points into there for an additional 15% extra gun damage. Now, big reason why we're doing this is because with Bloodletter, that damage we're going to be doing with that kinetic bleed is based off of gun damage. So obviously, naturally, we should be increasing our gun damage as much as we humanly can. For points 25 to 30, we're going to put it into Mortal Terror down here. Chance to trigger kill skills when critically hitting enemies. So we don't even have to, constantly be killing with that, Grave Implement skill. Just causing critical hits, especially with Target Precedence, is going to essentially ensure that we're constantly keeping those kill skills up and rolling. And now, naturally, we should be able to activate our capstone. So this can be Vibe Check. Eldritch Blast is now a charge skill. Activating Eldritch Blast consumes all charges to ricochet on hitting an enemy for each charge consumed. And then its cooldown reduction for gun damage is doubled. We're not going to be using this all that insanely much, but it's at least something solid to have for now. So now we actually have 19 points to work with, and we're going to be going into Red Tree. This is going to be the Phase Familiar tree with Trouble. We're going to put 5 points into Enchantment. Vex gains bonus kinetic damage with weapons while her action skill is active. Obviously, we should be able to keep up our Incarnate quite often, especially with everything we're going to be doing with it. So this is just a natural skill to go into. Next, we're going to do 5 points into Overprotective. Kill skill, Vex and her minions gain Overshield, and it's a 4% for, every kill, and then 5%. Obviously, everything we're going into before, being able to just like activate kill skills with just like critical hits. We should be able to keep our shield up quite often. Next, 5 points into Mourning. Vex's kill skills gain increased effectiveness. A 6% F5 is a 30% extra effectiveness. That's going to be great for that Overshield. That's going to be great for that gun damage. Again, for that bleed and everything else we're using. Now, with that last 4 points that we have, I'm just going to throw that into Grave Sustenance. Kill skill, restore a percentage of missing action skill duration. 4%, we're going to put up to 4 points. So that should get us to about 18% there. So, that'll just be nice to constantly keep up Incarnate, just so we're able to keep up that extra damage with it from enchantment. And there you have it. That is essentially at least the original setup I'm going to do for this. That is not accounting for class items. That's not accounting for weapons, shields, rep kits, all the other stuff. This is just for the skill tree. And again, this is just in hindsight, kind of deciding, is this a good idea? Yes or no? Later down the road, we'll make that decision. If you haven't already, make sure you are checking out my Rafa build that I did, focusing over Priest Baker cannons using the shotgun capstone. I think that's a pretty solid setup, and I think that this one will actually rival it quite a lot. It's kind of hilarious. I have essentially said that I'm gonna be a Rafa main from the get-go, but as I've been doing this setup here, I've been constantly going, man, maybe it would be kind of a fun idea, to maybe just go Incarnate and go Vex from the jump, because it seems like a lot of people have kind of fallen off from wanting Vex to be their main and stuff. So I don't know, maybe it's gonna be fun. But if you like this video, make sure you're giving it a thumbs up and leaving a comment down below. Let me know something you're interested in seeing from Borderlands 4. Subscribe, become a member, and follow me over on YouTube and Twitter and Twitch at Byrdman778. Big shout out again to Zeta for creating these trees. We again should be able to be seeing a skill planner on a certain website that your boy Bird and your boy Moxie and your boy Chadley and your girl Abby are all involved with. So use those context clues and start keeping your eyes out for something cool down the road. But again, guys, thank you so much for all the love on the recent videos, the Borderlands videos and everything. It's been amazing. I've actually had a lot of people like checking out the YouTube streams as well, coming over to the Twitch streams. So do either or, just come vibe out. Let's hang out and have a good time. But anyway, y'all, I hope you have a great night, day, whatever it may be.